Sundays, but you know what? We had some family in town and we were having a blast. And now I get to do the recap with you guys. All right, looks like our mighty, mighty moderator, Susie, is here. Hello, hello. Okay, so before we get started, for those people that are going to be watching the replay or popping into the chat soon, if you don't know who I am Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. You can learn a little bit more about me by clicking on the links down below, checking out my website, kittensweightsandtarot.com, maybe checking out the witchy shop that's owned by James and I, Desert Cauldron. We have some witchy goodies in there for everybody who's prepping for Samhain. James also has, I believe there's another sale going on in his shop. So if you're looking for a little crystal companion to work with on this spiritual journey, definitely check out James's shop as well. But all right, how is your Sunday? How was your week? And do you have any plans for today or for the upcoming week? Susie says, good to see you. It's good to see you. Yeah, so um, we had James's mom and dad here. They came, let me see, I think it was Friday or Saturday, a couple of, I guess, technically a couple of weeks ago. And then they left that following Saturday. So I figured I would just take a break. Yeah, we just we went on some adventures. We went down to Payson and got ourselves a burger. I love their veggie burgers down there. Like it doesn't, I mean, sometimes we're like, are these veggie burgers? Like they're really good. But it's, if you guys are ever down in Payson, check out Buffalo Bar and Grill. I really love the burgers there. I like to get the Duke. Anyway, let's see, what else do we do? Oh yeah, okay, so since James's dad is from England, I made pasties. He seemed to enjoy them. I also made royal British scones and some vegan coconut clotted cream, and then used some of my preserves and stuff. And we tried to have that around high tea. So that was really nice. Um, let's see, I made some lumpia because I was like, might as well make my specialty. James made some spaghetti. Let's see, we went out to the Chinese buffet that we have here in town, which is like James's dad's favorite. And James's mom is from Bolivia. So I said that next time I'll be making some of her favorites. So anyway, let's see how you guys are doing. Susie said salad, yay! Angela's here. Hello, hello. Susie said, how fun. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun and we got to do a channeling while we were here. Speaking of channeling, by the way, for those people who are new or will be watching the replay, I have a poll that I put out. Obviously, I hadn't put a poll out in the past couple of weeks, but that's because we were with family. But for the live chat, I always put the poll out, usually on a Thursday. And then there's a public poll, there is a YouTube member poll, and there's a Patreon poll. So if you're a YouTube member or a patron or both, technically you have more say in the votes. So you're able to sway, you know, the voting polls one way or another, you know, especially if it's really close in the public poll. So thank you to my patrons and my YouTube members and all of my subscribers who were voting in those polls. But you guys voted for a channeling of our native ancestors. So we're going to be asking one of the native spirits who live around here if they would like to chat with us. But we've had many, or you know, quite a few tribes come through here. First, we have the Atul, the Anasazi, that lived here about 1,000 to 2,000 years ago, and we're still finding their pottery. In fact, I found some more of their pottery yesterday, and many of them ascended. Then we had the Dene, which is the Navajo, come through here. We had the Hopi live around here. The Apache came through. So there's all kinds of evidence of our ancestors that are here, but also energetically, their evidence is here as well. And I think that it would be really nice to connect to one of them. I was thinking, you know, maybe Anna will come through or Mika, but you know, I don't know. And who knows, maybe it'll be somebody not from this area, but maybe from one of your areas. So we'll definitely see. Um, Elise said, hi, made it this morning. It sounds good. Yay, yay, yay. Good to see you. Easy Does It says, hello, getting ready for work while watching. All right. Well, hopefully we can offer you some entertainment while you get yourself ready for work. And welcome to everybody coming in. By the way, I do want to say thank you and love you to all of my subscribers and all of my mighty moderators and all of the people who support this channel and watch our videos, share our videos, and hang out with us, in this live chat crew. But all of my YouTube members as well, Kayla and Nancy, Astrid, Jolene, hello, hello, and also my patrons. So Lily and Dana and Jamie, Kayla, Surian, Brandy, Jason, Brian, Karen, Lisa, Palu, Crystal, Sarah, Oz, and our newest member, Joel. So I love you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all of your support. All right. Well, before we get into the channeling of our native ancestors, we're going to have to sling some cards for this upcoming week. So I encourage you, highly encourage you to join in on this because I think it's so much better when you have a varied point of view from so many different higher selves, so many different souls weighing in on, your intuition. What is your guidance saying? So maybe you want to sling some cards with us. Maybe you just want to go into a meditation and get some downloads. Maybe you want to channel that information or use a pendulum or runes or however it is that you gather your intuition. Go ahead and join us. So I'll show you some decks that I'm working with. I pulled out all of my Samhain / darker shadowy type decks for this month. And so I'm actually going to be making a video on those decks. So stay tuned. It's just going to be a fun skis little video. It's not really like a deck review or anything, just more talking about the season, but also showcasing some of the decks that I'll be using. So hopefully you guys will like that. Oh, Cosmic Conversation says, hey guys, looking forward to today. Hello, hello. Susie's going to grab her Halloween tarot. Excellent. Well, check out what I got. I got the Tarot V. Anybody need a little vampire in their life? um, Susie says, can't wait for the video. Yeah, I think you guys will like it. I'll try to make it, fun skis. Elise said, this shall be interesting. The cards and runes flew out before I was ready. Whoa. They're ready to be talkative. All right. I also have the Oracle of Oddities by Claire Goodchild. So that's going to be hanging with us today. And then I have a new deck. Actually, I pre-ordered this deck, but it's new to me. And that is the Ofrenda Oracle. So it's Lenormand with a lot of extra cards. So it looks just like this. Obviously little Lenormand size. But it's got all kinds of extra cards, but also Lenormand cards. So if you wanted to, you could just separate the Lenormand and then read it that way. Or if you want to incorporate all of the extra cards, because I believe it's 50 cards total instead of the regular 36. But yeah, I thought you guys might enjoy this today as well. Whoa. What was the card that flew out? Ooh, the Rider. Riding on in with some messages. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to that weekly reading. Let's see, what do I want to do? I think I'll use the Tarot V and the Oracle of Oddities first. Okay. You know what I love about Alejandro Colucci's decks is like, here it looks like the normal statue. Here the statue's like a vampire, and then on the back you get the vampire dude, but then you have like the normal dude. I don't know. It's kind of cool. I'm a sucker for like artwork, That's probably why I have so many decks. Okay. And then we'll take out these cards. Alrighty. Okay, I think we're all ready, skis. Okay, so let me pull a theme card for the week using the Oracle of Oddities first, and then we'll use the Tarot V as more backup information or clarification on the upcoming week. But like I said, do share your wisdom as well, your downloads, and especially for the people who are watching the replay, do read the chat, because there's a lot of wonderful information. There's a lot of fabulous people that come to hang out with these live chats, and so many different backgrounds, so many different points of view. What I love about it is that we don't all share the same beliefs, but we can all come together and, honor each other's messages, honor each other's beliefs and ways of thinking. And I love that it challenges each and every one of us, our own ways of thinking, so that we can expand our consciousness. If we're never being challenged, we can't grow. And so that's what I love about our live chat here. Okay, Susie said she drew the 8 of Imps, which is the 8 of Wands. You know what? I also busted out the Halloween Tarot. That's one of my Samhain type decks. Okay. All right, I'll put that deck aside so my little cards don't fly away. And then I'm going to pull a few Tarot V cards. Oh, by the way, this deck of mine, this little deck of mine, I edged it in brick red, which kind of looks like a faded blood red, and I thought that would be really cool for vampires. So, anywho. While I'm shuffling cards, and while we're in this Samhain / Halloween / Dia de los Muertos season, which will actually be more towards the beginning of November, what were some like ghouls that you guys were connected to, like around Halloween time? Like, some people say they really like the Mummy, or they really liked witches, because we're witches. I would say for me, when I was younger, I was obsessed with vampires. I don't know why. I thought they were just really cool. I kind of thought it was a bummer though that they couldn't hang out in the sun, because obviously, like, I'm a sunshiny person, and I love the summertime. I love the sun, so I'd be a pretty depressed vampire if that happened. Never seeing the sun again. But there was other things. I was like, wow, they can fly away. They could turn into werewolves. They can, walk around all hot like, they dress all Victorian. So I don't know. So my parents thought I was weird, because we used to have, next to my brother and I, we had like a play chest in the garage, like full of our toys and like basketballs and stuff like that. But next to it was all the Halloween costumes, and there was like a Dracula cape, and I would just wear that cape around the house, probably till I was about like 11 years old, 11 or 12, still wearing my cape around the house. I would go to sleep in my cape. I was like, this is my protective vampire cape. um, Let's see, let's go back here. Susie said, sudden action or progress can be love letters. Ooh, Cupid style. Maybe a message for someone here. Elise says, awesome. Cosmic Conversations says, that's so cool. Susie says, I'm connected to witches and cats, but that is every day. Yep, every day. Elise was connected to the Reaper. Ooh, nice. Cosmic Conversations drew the Queen of Swords in reverse. Ooh, do tell, do tell. Okay, I think we have our cards now. Elise, you got me thinking of that song by Blue Oyster called Who I Got to See in Concert. It was awesome. I got to be there with my lighter with everybody. But yeah, seasons don't fear the reaper. You do the wind, the sun, and the rain. They could be like they are. Come on, baby, don't have no fear. Anyway, that's going to be playing in my head like the rest of the day. Anywho, okay, so let's see what our title card or our theme card is for this week. And I love that Susie was talking about love letters, because look what I drew. Love. Ha 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 ha. So we have this heart surrounded by flowers. We have like two people reaching for the heart longingly. Okay, so let's dive into this one for this upcoming week. Ooh, Well, that's interesting. Okay. Um, Obviously this is kind of the general information that's out there. So utilize your own intuition and take it as you will. But it feels like for this upcoming week that there's going to be a lot of coming back around of our past loves. So, not necessarily people, but things that we used to love, things that we were obsessed about. So, this could be you going through a photo album and you come across a picture of your crush when you were in fifth grade or something like that. And you're like, oh my gosh, just kind of reflecting on that young love, but also looking back and like, oh, I remember when I was little and I thought I was going to grow up to be a physicist, and that was my determination. I was going to be a physicist or I was going to be a scientist, a mad scientist maybe. And just thinking about all the things that we used to obsess about where we're like, this is definitely the person I'm going to be with, or this is definitely the job I'm going to have, or this is definitely who I'm going to be, or where I'm going to live, or what my future car looks like when I get a car someday, or when I grow up, I'm going to have a family. I'm going to have 2.5 kids and a little dog too. So just it's a lot of reminiscing coming back around. And when we look at the tarot V cards, we'll kind of figure out why maybe this is all coming back around. But that is definitely the theme for this week, is things that we used to love so intently. It could be situations, could be people. What was that? Interesting. The spirits are already here, by the way. But yeah, so all the things that maybe we used to doodle or write in our journal and like, oh, this is going to be my life, or things. And of course, life happens, things change, our priorities change, our loves change, our likes change, and that's because we grow and we can't help but change. We're ever evolving beings. It's almost impossible for us to not evolve and grow in some way because, well, Gaia herself is always evolving and growing. There's the change of seasons. We have a change of season right now. We're slowly going into autumn. Well, here in the Northern Hemisphere anyway. Autumn, fall, coming out of that wonderful, warm summer season. But since we are on this planet as well, everything here has to evolve and change. So I think it's going to be a wonderful reflection for this week to kind of think about, where was I in my life when I loved this thing or this person or this situation? What led me to wanting those things in my life at that time? And I think if we can get clarity on that, wondering why we wanted those things or what was the driving force behind them, even if they seemed really positive or maybe some things maybe seem negative. But it's good to do that reflection. We can get a better sense of self, a better understanding of self, and a better understanding of our programming, our shadows, our higher self, our mission, and this beautiful wayward journey, that we've been on. And who wants a straight and narrow path anyway? I want the wayward journey. So, um, okay, so let's go back here. Elise says, I was just thinking about that song. Ah, hell yeah. um, Janine says, sorry, not well, so not pulling cards, just watching. Well, I'm sending you lots and lots of healing love. So is Susie. And, hopefully, like I said, we'll just provide some nice entertainment today. Just sit back and enjoy. Take care of yourself. Susie said, Boo Boo Kitty is listening. He loves you. Oh, lots of kisses from Boo Boo Kitty. What a sweetie pie. Okay, so now let's get some clarity with our vampires. And we have the Four of Pentacles. We have the Judgment card. We have the Hanged Vampire, Hanged Bat. Okay, Elise says they got the Page of Cups, Astrid, love, sensuality, fertility, Fehu, and Sawilo. Damn, damn is right. Wow, a lot of love stuff coming up. Okay, so let me dive into these cards and kind of see what kind of clarity we can get for this upcoming week as well, or anything that I didn't touch upon. No, I guess we did. So it's just really helping us gain perspective on where we were, where we are now, and where we would like to go. And I think I mentioned that in our recent Mayan astrological message, which you can find on Instagram, where a couple of days ago we were on 13 Eb, which was the end of a Trasena. And Eb is the road of life. And I was talking about timelines, and I was saying that there's an infinite number of timelines out there. And we have the we utilize our free will to decide what timeline we want to be on. But in order for us to clearly choose a timeline, we have to clearly understand ourselves and clearly understand why we're making those decisions. Let's say I want to choose a timeline that's free of stress, but maybe I'm just choosing that because in this moment I feel stressed. So now I want this like stress-free timeline. But instead of wishing for a future that's stress-free, why don't I change my present? And how can I make that stress-free? Why am I feeling stressed in the first place? And that's just an example. I'm not saying we're all stressed out or anything, but we need that clarity. So this week, when we're thinking about our past loves, whether it was something we wanted to be, someone we wanted to be with, a place we wanted to be, or, who we wanted to be, think about now knowing that and where you are now. What can you learn from it? And if you were to pick a timeline future, what would it look like? How would you feel? How would you feel that you would act in that timeline? What kind of things do you think would come up in that timeline? And really, truly, why would you be choosing that timeline? So, some things to think about for this upcoming week, I feel. But I think that's kind of cool. Maybe you guys can message me on Instagram and just let me know, um, what came up for you this week. Was it some past loves, like, oh, high school crush? Was it some past belief systems that you had that you were so enamored with? Maybe it was situations that you were in love with or places that you thought you would be. I love to hear from you guys. So please do message me on the Instagrams at Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. Okay, let me put these cards away. We're going to get to our channeling. Yay! I'm so excited. Oh, by the way, thank you to everybody who's gotten a channeling session with me. I really do appreciate those. I'm grateful for those. I know that they're very personal, and people have to be in a very vulnerable, open space for me to do those channelings. So thank you to everybody who has gotten those with me. If you're wondering what I'm even talking about, if you go over to my website, kittensweightsandtarot.com, I do offer one-on-one live channeling sessions. So it's not pre-recorded or anything. You are literally on the phone. James is there, and he's basically keeping time for me while I'm doing the channeling. But yeah, you get to speak to your higher self, get to speak to basically whatever entity or energy you ask for. And everybody seems to really like it. I really love doing them. So, so all right, Okay, let's see. Let's go back here. Okay. So it said Two of Imps, which is the Two of Wands, resolving conflicts, new partnerships, and success. Susie said, love that message. Elise said, clarity is Nine of Cups, trickster, and Perthro. Things may seem to flip, but you are supported. Very nice. Susie says, love that, Elise. Ruchi is here. Namaskaram. How are you? Long time no see. Susie sending James some love. Ruchi says, hi, Susie. After a long time, hope you are doing well. And she said, very well, thank you. Likewise. All right. Well, see, past loves come back around, our old friends. Okay, here we go. So, for people who are just now popping in, oh, hey, Patrick. Nice to see you, my friend. So for all of our friends who are popping in now and the people that will be watching the replay and for everybody who's been here since we started at 8 a.m. this morning, um, I'm going to be channeling one of our native ancestors. I don't know which ancestor is coming forward. Um, my hopes is that maybe it's one of our friends that used to live here on this hill centuries and centuries and sometimes a millennia ago. Um, but who knows? It could be someone from one of your areas because as we know, when it comes to energy, it doesn't know space or time. There's no such thing. So, um, as I channel that person, it could be for somebody who watches the replay later on. I don't know. James asked if he could ask some questions for the native spirit, but I was thinking the best thing to do would just be to let them talk. Every once in a while, I do that. Sometimes it's nice when there's like directed conversation when somebody is asking a question of the energy and then they have a chance to kind of have this nice back and forth. But I was kind of feeling like whatever energy wants to come through really just wants to have a chat and just wants to say their piece. So I don't know. I don't know who it may be. Ruchi says, thank you, Tara, ma'am. It's so good you remember me. Lots of love. Lots of love to you too as well. Okay, so um, what I want to do is get into a meditative space first. Oh, hey, Blue Jay, what's up? Um, Try to connect to an energy. I'll relay the energy I'm speaking to, like who they are, everything. Um, then I'll have another drink of water and I'll let them come in and just start talking to you guys, if that's okay. So, unless other people have ideas, but that's kind of what I was thinking of doing was just kind of connecting to the energy first so that you guys know who you're talking to or who's talking to you. Yeah, and then I just let them jibber jabber with the intent that it's for our best and highest good, of course. Like I don't want any trickster energies in there. What I find does help with my channeling sessions is when people also get into a meditative space around me and they also put their intent in. So, especially like when I'm doing my one on one channeling sessions, I find that the best channeling sessions are when the other person is focused on the energy and they are grounded and they're in a somewhat meditative state or almost like a lucid dreaming type state. So, if you guys would like to do that, some of you guys are driving, so please maybe don't get into a meditative state while you're driving. So, be safe. But yeah, if you're in a place where you can just kind of ground yourself and focus on the energy that comes through, I just feel it creates a better channeling. Okay. 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 Let's do this. Okay. So give me a moment. We'll connect to the energy first. I'll take a little break and then we'll let that person speak. Okay. So we have an older man here. He had what kind of looked like a headdress on, but he took the headdress off to reveal his very dark hair. It's kind of pulled back into like a knot or a ponytail. He said when the Spaniards were here, they couldn't pronounce his name, so they called him Armando. And so he had a feeling that we wouldn't be able to pronounce his name. And he finds it no disrespect to call him Armando. He said he accepted that name as his Spanish name. He said that he's well versed in many languages. He says, whatever language you wish me to speak in, he says, if you would like me to speak in Spanish, I could speak in Spanish. If you would like me to speak in English, I also know the English. Um, he says, but he also speaks his native tongue. What is your native tongue? Dine, Navajo. He said that the translation of his name, his his name from the naming ceremony, when he says he became a man, he was Two Crow. He says that's the only name that matters is your adult name. He says the first name upon your birth is merely meant for you to capture your footing, to help you get started in the world until you figure out who you really are. Okay, so I'm gonna have a little bit of water and then I'm going to, it seems like he's just waiting. So he's like, he's like, I could jump in at any time. You just let me know. So he seems like a nice man. Yeah, I like his energy. So it's okay with me. Oh, Patrick can also see him. Yeah, he seems like a guy that, if he was around today, technically I guess he is, but he's in spirit. I would probably be his friend. So okay, Armando. Aho. It is nice to come here and to speak. I am honored, grateful for your jar, your vessel, person I can speak through. I know that there are many who look to us, not me in particular, not even my people in particular, but those who you think came before you in the long line of dancing we call life, looking to us for the way, for answers. The truth is, we are just an older version of you. We too were looking for our way. We were looking for answers. And just like you, we look to our ancestors. We connected to our ancestors much like I am connecting to you now. Sometimes our ancestors spoke through the fire. Sometimes they spoke through a vessel, person who allows such things. Sometimes we saw them in the weather, in the animals, or perhaps the way the stones were placed on the ground. Our ancestors always speaking to us. And we try so hard to listen, to make sure we are living our purpose as individuals, but also as a group. And there were times that we doubted ourselves. We thought that we were off our path, or that we had angered our ancestors. But what I know now that I am an ancestor, is ancestors can never be angry. They can never be cross. We are only filled with our light. We might call it Great Spirit, that ball of fire, but perhaps you call it by another name. The only time we feel others' ancestors could be angry with us, you have the word ego. We knew it as our shadow self. It is you, but it is a shadow version of you. Again, you call this ego. And it is that shadow version of ourselves that would have us believe that somewhere out there, someone is judging us and angry with us, so that we might feel subservient, so that we would never step into our true power. We believe this gave us power at first to always do what our ancestors wanted us to do, but to do out of fear of judgment. But now that I am in spirit, I know that the only judgment came from within, not truly from the heart of my own ancestors. Any fear you may have of what others may think of you or your ancestors may think of you, whatever worry or how you feel maybe you have angered someone, remember that all you can be is you, genuinely you. And if anything is coming down on you, saying that the real you isn't good enough, you can be sure that this is your shadow self. And we all have it. When we incarnate here, we have, I call, like an eagle aspect, and like our shadow aspect. And it is better to look through the eyes of an eagle than to constantly walk down a path of shadow. where no light can be seen. It is a fruitless journey. There is nothing to learn, nothing to see, until you take a step back and you see all the lessons and all that you could have learned from that shadow self. I do not condemn it. It is a part of that learning process. But perhaps you didn't want to hear me carry on about my own ancestors. Perhaps you're looking for some guidance for now in your time, if time existed. For I am here, yet I am not here. I have just been born and I have just died. Everything all at once. You are as much my ancestors as you are my grandchildren. What we all need to understand, not just human, not just plant and animal, or the wind through the trees. Is that we create this beautiful reality here before us. Sometimes we may think that if someone else were to change, my world would change. If only someone would gift me something, then I would feel loved. Then I would change. If only my circumstances would change, then I too would change. If the fighting that we may see amongst other tribes and other peoples, if that were to cease, my heart would be full again of love. But this is to keep ourselves separated. You do not see yourself in those who fight. You do not see yourself in the weather or in the circumstances or in those people around you. And that is our shadow aspect, keeping us disconnected. For when we are truly connected, I realize I am the soldier and I am the victim. I am the man, I am the woman. I am the ancestor, I am the child. I am fire, but I am also water. And you realize it is you. You are the common denominator in all of these instances. You perceive them because they are a part of your reality. And you realize as you change, everything around you changes. You might ask yourself, what good is it for me to change? How do I stop a war so far away by merely changing myself? And that is because if you could see things as I do, we all share a reality, yet we are all in our own different realities, our own different timelines. There are people that you share reality with right now where there are no wars. There is no bombing, there is no fighting. You might think this is impossible, but that is because you have not changed. This is not magic, and I do not speak falsehoods. Change yourself, you change the world. You give others permission to change as well. But if you are waiting for the world to change, to come to your doorstep and offer you a different life, you will find yourself waiting for all eternity. I say this with love in my heart. The reason I came today to speak to you is because I know that many of you are on an ascension path. This path does not make one better or worse than another. It is merely a chosen path by an individual. Some of you have chosen to stay here and help fellow souls, and that is fine. That is your choice. Some have chosen to ascend and to help in that way, and that is fine. That is your choice. But the way in which I am able to speak to you today is that when you do ascend, or perhaps when you pass away, that shadow aspect of yourself remains in this place without soul, really. It is more like hanging up a jacket onto a hook. And when you would like to come back and present yourself in this jacket, you can. But without you, the real you, the jacket just hangs there. This is your body, your physical body. And I have ascended. Many of my people, not all. But this was our choice. I am not in your box anymore. You might say I am of the fifth dimension. But with my clarity, which is what I encourage you to have, I've come back to the box, at least a part of me, to put my jacket back on so that I might have a form that you would recognize, so that I could feel into that old persona, this old version of me. And sometimes it feels quite nice, but my time here is brief, and I will hang my jacket back up, and I will go back home. But I felt that it was important to speak to you. And if you can think of your body in this way, that it is merely something that you wear, that your soul wears, like a jacket, you'd be less concerned with what it looks like and more concerned about who's wearing that jacket. Iknama ist anime halinne. Aho, my friends. Oh my goodness. Wow, okay. Okay. Okay, all right. I'm gonna come back to planet Earth here for a second. Wow. Okay, I don't have words right now, so maybe if you guys want to talk, I, my brain's not, no, it's not working. Okay. What an amazing energy. Oh my gosh, I am so sweaty. So gross. Um, okay, let me go back here, see what you guys were talking about. Um, all right, John Gross is here. Sister just got here. Hi. Our friend Edgar is here. What's up? Patrick said a real calm and relaxed soul. And when he was young, he was handsome guy, long black hair, baby face. Yes. Oh, our friend Nathan is here. Says greetings, sister. Hello, hello. Andrea said new subscriber, my beautiful spiritual sister and family. So glad to have you as a new part of our community. Thank you, thank you. Shadowlands is still in the process of working on the staff. Oh, that's right. Thank you for sending all those cool pictures on Instagram. I am enjoying watching that process. Elise said, wow. Nathan said, aho. And Patrick said, beautiful. Sukhbir is here. Said, hello, hello. Patrick said, Jakarahana. I said, what an awesome soul. Susie said, beautiful. Cosmic Conversations. That was amazing. Very resonating. Um, and oh, James is here. He said, I had this exact same download 5 minutes before the channeling and posted to Instagram. Mind blown. Whoa. Yeah, I mean, this guy was hanging out. He was like, I definitely want to speak. It was kind of nice just like letting the soul just speak, like unprompted, just like, how about it? It was kind of nice. Um, Cosmic Conversation says the split is getting wider and life is getting so much fun, a welcoming transformation and change. Yes, yes, I'm here for it. James says, hi, Susie. It was word for word. I'm tripping out. Dude, see, twin flame, simpatico. Edgar says, getting together this full moon with some friends, gonna start walking down the witches road. New Coven, really? Oh my gosh. High five, brother. That's awesome. You're gonna have to tell us all about it for sure. Wow. Well, this energy, it was like at first I was seeing, I guess, the way he wanted me to see him, which is, I guess, wearing his jacket, his earthly suit, what he used to look like when he was here. Um, but then, like, it was like he was, it was like he was speaking, um, with that earth suit on, but then at some point it felt like it transitioned. It felt like he just kind of like shed that and he started speaking more as his soul. I mean, both were his soul speaking, but in the first half it felt like he was trying to build like I guess familiarity. Like he thought it would be easier for us to hear another human speaking, if that makes sense. Like we understand what the Navajo people look and sound like. And so he's like, maybe it would be easy for them to like talk to me as I was, or for me to talk to them as I was. But then after a while, he was like, I think it's okay. I can just be my 5D self, basically. So he just kind of like went into being him, his energy. So I thought that was really cool. Um, Definitely felt a lot of fire inside, a lot of fiery energy. But at the same time, it was so like gentle and peaceful. Like I didn't feel like a crossbone in his body. Like just like everything was just done with like the utmost sincerity and love. It was a very nice feeling. So I'm glad a lot of you guys got to kind of tap into that feeling as well. Susie said, so cool. Elise said, I saw him too. Beautiful wisdom. Yeah, that is amazing. I'm glad you guys got to tap into him. And who knows, maybe I can tap into him again in the future. But I think that his message was pretty powerful. I don't quite remember all of it, but that's kind of what happens when I channel. I remember pieces, but not all of it. It's like when you wake up from a dream and you're trying desperately to remember what your dream was about. That's kind of how channeling is for me. Although sometimes, especially if it's just my own higher self that I'm talking to, then I can remember pretty much everything. But other times, it's just like a dream. It starts to kind of fade away. But I will single this video out. So, and put it on the interwebs, put it on YouTube so that if you wanted to watch just the channeling again, not the entire live chat, you could do that. Um, and also for other people that didn't have a chance to catch the live chat, and if they just wanted to see the channeling or listen to the channeling, I will put it up as a separate video for you guys. So Easy Does It said, simply beautiful. It felt personal to me, like a dad energy, and I needed to hear this. Yeah, that's what it felt like to me. It felt like the most amazing father slash grandfather slash uncle slash big brother energy like I've ever felt before. It was very nice. But I love his message, which was, we can't sit around waiting for the outside world to change. Of course, there are things that we would like to have, that we would like to see changed in the world. We don't want to see people hurt. We don't want to see people go hungry. We don't want to see people involved in wars. And, there's so many things that we would like to have corrected in our world. But like he was saying, if we sit around waiting for those things to change on their own, he says, we're going to be waiting forever. So he's saying all of it isn't here. And what I thought was interesting, at least the part I can remember, is that he said that um, there are people that we share reality with right now, where those things that are happening all over the world that we might consider, evil or bad, wars and things like that, that they just aren't in those other people's realities. Like there isn't a war at this time in their realities, yet they share our reality with us. And so it's just being on different timelines while at the same time we sort of share this space, which I think is really fascinating. I would like to be on a timeline where there's no war. That would be amazing. But the only way I can be on that timeline is I have to choose it for myself. And I would have to go inwards and change that. Um, wow. Let's see here. Do, do, do. Edgar says, don't forget some chocolate or something after channeling or trances. I always get groggy. Dude, dark chocolate, so grounding. And I'm probably going to make my chocolato drink after this live chat. So that is in the works, my friend. John says, I've been doing more dark work and it's blown open more experiences in waking time. Wow. Or dream work. Sorry, dream work. I was like, dark work, dream work. Elise says, yeah. um, James is like, John got off the drink. um, and Ethan said, appreciation for Mother Earth, animal rights. Exactly, exactly. Patrick said, yes, it's all about changing ourselves. Exactly. So wonderful. Well, you know what? I thank you guys for allowing me to channel for you again. So thank you to everybody who voted in that public poll, to all my YouTube members. Love you guys. All my patrons. Love you guys. Um, whew, wow. Okay. All right. Well, at this time, if there's anybody who would like to do super chats or super stickers, I could pull a card for y'all, and then we could do our channeled guided meditation. I always like to end in a nice grounding meditation, grounding healing meditation. But yeah, if there's anybody that would like me to pull a card for them, maybe you got a burning question, and you don't mind sharing it with us all, then yeah, let's swank some cards. But if you want something that's a little bit more private, like you don't want the whole interwebs to know, and maybe you want a more like expanded type reading, I have those as well. And those are on my website. And those could be between you and I. We could do them through phone call or pre-recorded video. Some people like that, so that way they can watch the video over and over again, to kind of get all the messages. But yeah, so you could do that by going to my website, or hey, like I said, we could do super chats and super stickers here. And what I found here, that when I'm doing readings for people here, is that it often helps other people that are in the chat. And that's because I think is because we're all connected, we're all one. And so, oh hey, what's up, birds? So what could be helpful for one person could be helpful for all of us. All right, Stormy Fever. Thank you, thank you. Um, oh, and our friend John. Excellent. So, Stormy Fever, let me know what your question is, or maybe you would like something that's more general. Let me find what deck do I want to use? You know what? I like the Oracle of Oddities, so that's what I'm going to use. um, Edgar says, I dreamed I was running on all fours. I was an animal. Oh, really? That's super cool. That's awesome. I had a wacky dream last night too. But sometimes I've dreamt like that I'm a bird, not just like a human flying, but like that I actually have wings. So that's always a fun dream. Patrick says, "What a journey this is! OMG!" And Elise says, "Ancient Father." Yes. And Shadowland says, "The staff is my first time doing uh, Dremel carving. Never did wood carving of any kind before. Making a playlist here on YouTube of the staff birthing process." Shadowlands, you definitely should talk to Patrick, Magic Universe. He does all kinds of like wood carving stuff, utilizing his intuition. I think you two would get along actually. Um, okay, Stormy Fever says they are open. Surprise me. All right, will do. And then we'll get to our buddy John. Elise, you are so welcome. Oh, Cosmic Conversations. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's take a look at Stormy Fever. Okay, before I look at your card, Stormy Fever, oftentimes when I'm getting my downloads, I hear music. And so I was hearing Jumper by Third Eye Blind. Um, is that I wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. We could cut ties from all the lies that you've been living in. And if you do not want to see me again, I would understand. I would understand. Anyways, that's the song that's playing. I don't know how that connects to your card, but we'll find out. All right. Oh, we have Joy. Okay. All right, Patrick. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So let's tap into this one. Okay. Okay. So this is connected to the reading that we got about the upcoming week, where we're saying that we're going to be reflecting about things that we loved, either people that we were so obsessed and in love with, or situations, or what we wanted to be and where we wanted to go, things of that nature. And as you're doing your own reflection this week, it's okay to let certain things go. And the reason that's coming up is your higher self is saying that sometimes you hold on to things for fear that you're going to forget them. Like you feel like, let's say there's a person that maybe you guys don't speak anymore, but you still care about that person. And so you're afraid that if you let them go, that that would be something mean that you're doing. Like, I don't want to truly let their memory go or let their energy go because that would be considered mean on my part, or somehow bad, that I would lose that energetic connection that we used to have. I'd lose those memories of that person. And your higher self is saying it's actually quite the opposite. That's the fears that our ego pumps into us, thinking that, if we let go of a situation or we let go of a person, that we're somehow doing damage, that we're doing something awful. And that's not the case. We're actually making room for something even better. But at the same time, we can never forget those people. We can never forget all those memories. And that's because memories are stored in our energy, our energetic self. It's not our mind, and I think that's what frightens us with people thinking that they're losing their memory. And we actually did a channeling on that. We did a channeling on memory, and that was the name of the channeling. It was channeling memory, and we were talking about dementia and Alzheimer's. But I'm not saying about dementia and Alzheimer's for you, but I'm talking about we want to remember. That's why we take photographs. That's why we take home videos, is we're so afraid that we're going to forget someone, that we're going to forget what we had or where we were. And so your higher self is just reminding you that you can never forget. As long as you're an energetic being, which is going to be you for all eternity, like you are infinite energy, that you can tap into any timeline, any point in your life, any past life, at any time. If you would like to recall in detail your grandmother, you could do that. If you would like to recall in detail who you used to be 17 lifetimes ago, you can do that. And it's okay to let go. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. Letting go just means making space. So this week, as you're doing your reminiscing and reflecting, remember that it's okay to let certain things go, let people go, let beliefs go, because there's so much waiting for you right now. Like your higher self is like showing me like race cars at the starting line, like they're revving their engines, like they want to start, they want to go, but they're waiting for you to like wave the checkered flag, and say it's okay to go, because you can recall any one of these points in time at any time. um, and so now I'm trying to ask your higher self, so what did Third Eye Blind what did that song have to do? um, and it said it was actually not the entire song, it was just the lyrics that I was singing. That says, if you don't want to see me again, I would understand. And so your higher self is saying, that's actually the ego talking. The ego is saying, hey, if you don't want to see me again, I understand. Or, the parts of us that are ego, like it's okay. It's okay to let go. Nobody's mad at you. In fact, you're making way for something more beautiful. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. All right, so we have John. Definitely let me know if you have a question or maybe you want something just kind of general from your higher self. All right, so we have John, our friend Cosmic, Easy Does It, and Patrick. Excellent. Patrick says, I love to know again what level I am at now with my ego so far. Ooh, okay. Oh, and Shadowlands. Excellent. We'll do that for sure. John said, just had my solar return a couple days ago. Just an energy check in if that's not too much. Well, happy solar return. You know what that means before I even pull your card. I hear somebody had their birthday. Okay, here we go. Everybody, sing in if you know the words. Join in. One, two, 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to our friend John, also known as Juan in other languages. Happy birthday to you. Boop, 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 be doop. Happy birthday, John. Okay, so let's do a little check-in. A little solar return check-in. Susie throwing up the birthday emojis. Okay, before I look at this card, let's see if I get any music or images. Okay, maybe we're gonna go into the 80s now. I'm pretty sure this is Depeche Mode. John says, an amazing operatic experience. Okay, so what is this song? Well, I'll just sing the lyrics that I'm hearing. Shout, shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without. Come on. I'm talking to you, so come on. Do, 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 do. Na, do, 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 do. Okay, we'll figure out how that song plays into your card, but we'll see. And our friend Angela is also here. All right. Okay. So we have the throat chakra, the Sutta. All right. Ruby slippers. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Oh my gosh, the song Shout, Shout, Let It All Out. And this is freaking throat chakra. All right. Let's see, John. What does this mean? What does this mean? Okay. Your higher self has given you some homework. So, who knew that your reading would end up in homework? Okay. So, your higher self is saying for this next 365 days, or for the rest of your life, if you would like, um, your higher self says that yes, you do for the most part speak authentically, that you are John. You know, when you're speaking, you don't really put on airs with a whole lot of people and things like that. But see if you could try speaking more with the voice that you connect to in meditation, which is your higher self, and less with the John that everybody grew up with, if that makes sense. Meaning that you'd be speaking straight from your heart space. Every decision that you make, how you interact with people, is going to be more with the heart space than with the ego. Like the ego would say, well, we're in a certain situation here right now. So amongst these people, I speak in this way. And I know that, you know, saying this thing might be offensive to these people. So I don't say this. Or you know, this person seems like they need all of my time and energy, so I'm going to give them all of my time and energy, even though I might find it draining and I'm not showing myself any sort of equal balance. It's okay, I can give it all to them. Your higher self is saying, see if you can try this. You know, maybe, you know, it may not last all 365 days, but at least trying for today and every day moving forward, seeing if you can speak directly with that same voice that you hear in your meditations, directly from your heart. And although the ego might freak out sometimes and it might say, no, 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 you can't say that. That person's going to get upset, or you can't say that. They're going to judge you so harshly. The higher self's like, remember what our native friend said earlier, that everything outside of us is just a reflection of what's going on inside of us. So if inside we are not okay with what we are saying, we're not okay with ourselves because our ego has been out of shape, then we're just projecting onto others that they're going to be bent out of shape. But really, that's not the case. If we were to heal that part of ourselves, then our reality would definitely change and shift. Um, so yeah, see if you can do this. If just kind of like blurting things out, letting it come out as the spirit moves you, as they say, but it's your spirit. Um, and see how that starts to begin to shift your reality. Like I said, I know that you're an authentic person. I know that you speak for the most part from your heart. But all of us have ego. But so this is the challenge. Try to every once in a while tell the ego, take a little nap ski, whatever worries or fears it has, I'm just speaking as the real me today. And everybody else is going to have to deal with it. And actually, what's going to happen is you're giving everybody else permission to speak as their higher self as well. I mean, their egos might get triggered, but that's just the ego. Let the ego show them where their healing is truly needed and continue speaking your truth. So, all right. So shout, shout, let it all out. John said it's 11:11. All right. Excellent. All right. So many wonderful people in today. This is beautiful. Okay, so we had our friend Cosmic, who's up next. And again, thank you, John, for letting me read for you. Um, so Cosmic was saying, for the question, sorry, I'm just scrolling back through. Um, okay, just a higher self convo, some confirmation. Okay, so a little higher self connection. We can definitely do that. John said yes on all these themes. Thank you. You're very welcome. Okay, so cosmic conversations. Oh, I guess that's your card. Okay, so before we take a look at this card, let's go in and see if we can get any more music. I don't mind like listening to all these radio stations in my head. This is great. You guys have some fabulous taste in music. At least your higher selves do. Okay. Okay, Cosmic Conversations. Have you seen The Little Mermaid? So it's the it's the part in The Little Mermaid where Prince Eric and Ariel are in the boat, and it's when Ariel gave away her voice to Queen Ursula. Is because she wanted this prince, whatever, to fall in love with her. But the only way that she was supposed to have him fall in love with her was without the use of her beautiful singing voice, her beautiful voice. So he thought she was mute. Um, but they're in this little boat together, and Sebastian, which is the crab, and all these fishes start like spinning the boat around, making it magical and beautiful so that he would kiss the girl. So it's that song, sha la 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 la, you wanna kiss the girl. Cosmic says, LMAO. The way the card came out, I feel like she's like, girl, here. I know, right? Okay, so let's see what we have here. Ooh, and we'll find out how the Little Mermaid and Kiss the Girl plays into empathy. Okay, so let's tap into this. Okay, okay. Interesting. So, um, this empathy, it's more talking about empathy for self. Sometimes getting hard on yourself if you don't always hear your higher self clearly, or if your intuition said something but you did the opposite, and then you're like, damn it, I should have listened to my intuition. Your higher self is saying, I don't ever get mad at you. Just like our native friend was saying, there is no anger, there is no, oh, you're going to get punished now because you didn't listen to your intuition, or you made a mistake, so you're going to get punished. Like, there is no punishment. It's just experiences, and it's all just learning lessons. And so the reason they were showing me The Little Mermaid is that oftentimes we as humans are like the Prince Eric. They made Prince Eric to be out as kind of, he's a little hard-headed. It's very hard sometimes for him to get messages and for him to hear things, but sometimes that's what happens to us as human beings. And Ariel sitting there without her voice at the moment, sometimes that's our higher self sitting there. It's kind of hard to hear her or hear him, but they're sitting there nonetheless, and they're trying as best they can, like winking, like, hey, hey, over here, without really saying anything, to get you to really like connect with that higher self. And everything that was going around it with like the crab Sebastian, all the fishes making it magical and beautiful, those are all the synchronicities that we get throughout our life. Those are the 1111s and the white feathers falling from the sky. That's kind of like what was happening with the boat in The Little Mermaid. That's the metaphor, really. And they said, of course, the creators of the movie, that wasn't their intent, but also they said light works through people without their knowledge, just like shadow works without people's knowledge as well. And so that part of the movie was put in more as a metaphor for people to be able to see that the magic is always all around us. It's always trying to get us to look and listen. Your higher self is right there. And they have so much to tell you. They have so much love for you, just like Ariel had for Eric, except hers was romantic love, and our higher self has infinite, eternal, freaking frequency of the universe type love, you know? So, um, be gentle with yourself is the message, that it's okay when we quote unquote f up or mess up. It's just part of our human experience. But the thing is, we need to learn what was the lesson here. So it's a completely different thing to say we screwed up and then we just continue on our way and we don't learn anything about it. And then it's completely different to say, hey, we screwed up, but what was I meant to learn? What can I get out of this? How can I grow and expand my consciousness? Is this something I want to do again in the future? Do I want to do it differently? Do I want to do it completely different? You know, but it's just going to take our reflection. So, Cosmic Conversation said, wow, so many layers. You don't even know. Excited to paint about this. Ooh, I would love to see your paintings. Oh my goodness. How wonderful. Okay, so Susie said the easy does it is next, then our friend Patrick, then our friend Shadowlands, and Ruby Slippers. Okay, easy does it. I know that you had your question. Okay, there it is. I see it. My question is, should I move to a new home or should I stay at my old home? Okie dokie. Let's do this. Wow, YouTube chat service. These bots get tricky. The minions of YouTube. Anyway, okay. Um, moving to a new home or staying in the old home? Easy does it would like to know. Let's see if you have any movies, music for us to listen to. Um, it's so weird. It's like when I'm trying to tap into people's energy, it does sound like the dial on a radio. Susie's like phony bot. Yeah, I know, right? But it sounds like dial on the radio, like all kinds of stations moving back and forth. But it also seems like somebody's at the remote control at a TV, like flashing through movies and everything. It's very interesting. Okay, so I pulled your card. I haven't looked at it yet, but I want to see if I can get anything else before we look at this card. Okay, it's not any one movie or story really. Um, I kept seeing like Peter Rabbit, and then I was seeing the old woman that lived in a shoe, and it's basically like fairy tales. Yeah, it was all kinds of like fairy tales that I was seeing. Um, uh, let's see. Okay, so they're showing me Peter Rabbit and how he had on that little jacket of his. Like he wanted to be something different, but he was getting ridiculed for others because he wanted to try to be something different. And they were saying that he couldn't, basically, he couldn't be anything other than what he was, which is a rabbit. But in the fairy tale, it's like twofold, that he could change who he was if he wanted to. And it didn't matter how other people saw him. But at the same time, he did have to understand that he was a rabbit, but then he's also not a rabbit at the same time. You know, I don't know if that makes much sense, but okay. So the card I pulled, um, I have lust. Okay, so let's dive into this one for moving. What does this have to do with moving houses or not moving? Okay, so your higher self says it never wants to tell you what to do. All it does is give suggestions, and then you use your free will. So your higher self's never going to be demanding, saying you must absolutely move or you must absolutely not move. That's not what your higher self's saying. Your higher self's saying each choice, any choice that you make, is going to be a learning experience for you. Um, if you do decide to move, um, just know that it might feel there's a lot of old stuff that's going to come up because of that move, kind of like what we were talking about with this upcoming week, except your entire move is going to be like that, where there's a lot of old shadows and old stuff and old programming coming to the surface. And your higher self says, if you're ready for all of that, then go ahead and do that. By not moving, however, you have a chance to be in your very safe, recognizable space, the one that you know very well, and you can do your shadow work there. You can do your learning and your lessons there. It's whichever you feel more comfortable in. But do know that in about 6 months' time, there's going to be some really good opportunities when it comes to where you move to. And you might enjoy those opportunities more than if you decided to move right away, like right now. Again, your higher self doesn't want to tell you what to do, but just kind of offering this information for you that if you move right now, of course, that's a choice. There's going to be experiences with that choice, which means that everything that's in need of healing is going to be coming up for you. It might seem overwhelming, but again, it's not a punishment. It's not anything bad. It's just saying, hey, you want to make some big changes in your life? Well, then here's a lot of things you're going to have to address in order to make those big changes. If you want to go a little bit more, a little slower route, kind of at your own pace and not have everything all at once, then stay in the old house that you're in, where you feel safe, where you feel secure, where things are familiar for you so that you can kind of go through the same things that you would go through if you were going to move right now, but you're going at them at a much slower pace here. And then in about 6 months' time, roughly based on this particular timeline, if you don't jump timelines, then other opportunities for moving into another home would be presented to you. And you might have more clarity on where you want to move to because now you've already healed and moved through a lot of the things in your old home, giving you clarity of where you want to go in your new home, as opposed to I'm just picking a home now and now all my stuff is coming up and now I have clarity. So that's up to you. So I hope that makes sense. And I think the reason it was showing Peter Rabbit is that when he put on his little jacket and he decided he's going to be a little British rabbit now, or not a rabbit, more like a people person. He wanted to change who he was. That brought some trials and tribulations for him, but he grew, as a result. If he decided to just stay a rabbit, he of course could have learned a lot of things that way as well, but it just would have been a little bit slower. So it just depends on you. Do you want to go more slowly with the healing and have clarity later, or do you want to have all the healing like right now, and then have clarity after that? So up to you, of course. Um, okay. So thank you for allowing me to read for you. Um, John says the point is about things coming through like a radio. Yes. Patrick says, I go through the same things right now. Move or stay at this house. Thanks so much. Um, Susie says, wishing you the best. Easy does it. And Easy does said it does. Very good. Okay, so we have our friends Patrick, Shadowlands, Ruby Slippers, and Sook Beer. All right, so Patrick was wondering kind of where his ego number was at today, which we can definitely look into, and then we'll pull a card as well, just to see if we can get any more information on that. You're very welcome, Easy Does It. Okay, so Patrick, okay, let me just tap into your energy and see where we're at. All right, Patrick. You've been working, my friend. Okay. It's showing 17.2% ego. And that's kind of like the pendulum swing of where like James and I go. It's like between like 15 and 17, I guess, depending on um, what's going on with us. But at this very moment, in this live chat, it's 17.2%. Um, whoa. Wow. Okay. So let's pull you a card and see what other message we can get to go along with that, like anything you might need to know. Um, Edgar says, Susie, I think I was dreaming about what Tara was saying. Nice. Um, okay. Patrick said, yes, 17. Okay. So we have protect. Okay. All right. Soup beer will do. And okay. So I see what Shadowlands' question is. Excellent. Okay. So protect. Okay. So if this past several months, it seems like the shadow work that you have been doing, the healing that you have been doing, has felt more difficult, it's not because you're doing something wrong. Actually, it's because you're doing something rather well. If your intention is to remove your ego, meaning separating your soul from the program that you came into this cube with, then the ego is programmed to fight back because its ultimate mission is to keep us here. It's meant to, help navigate us around this world. Like it is the matrix. um just like these matrix flies, like um so it's not just going to roll over and take it. It's not just going to give up easily, as you start removing it from your reality, as you start healing and all of that. It's trying to keep you sucked in, so it's trying to frustrate you to the point where you actually lower your vibration in an attempt to basically yell at the ego. So allowing the ego to get you worked up, get you upset, which in essence, it's doing it to itself. So that frustration that you feel, that sometimes anger or anxiety that you feel, is the ego itself. It's doing it to itself. So it makes you think that it's an outside entity and that the person getting angry or upset is your higher self. But remember, if the higher self doesn't have anger in it and it doesn't have frustration in it, then that frustration and anger you feel is actually the ego. It's very, very crafty. So not only can it upset itself, but you feel upset because it did it to itself. If that makes sense. So it's trying anything and everything to get you to push that ego number back up again, like get back into the 30% is really what it wants. It's like 30, 40%. That would be fabulous if you could have that much more ego, because that's its program. Again, it's not an evil thing. It's just a program for the place that we live in. And so its main mission is to keep you here. So just keep that in mind, that if things have felt more difficult lately, past several months, that's just because it's getting down to the nitty gritty. 17% is pretty low, I would say, so it's trying its best to just frustrate you, feel down on yourself, get angry with yourself. It wants you to spit venom at it. um, and so that way you direct your focus away from the healing and more at this thing that you can be angry with. But remember, the point is not to be angry with our ego or to be frustrated with our ego, but just let it continue to be the key to show you where more healing is needed. Let it talk away, let it, because it reveals everything. That's what it does. It's like, you can't do this because I must have control. Oh, so I have issues with control. Okay, thanks for showing me, ego. All right. And the ego's like, no. So yeah, let it do its little jibber jabber, let it talk, because all it can do is show you where the next level of healing is needed. But just know that it's been pushing back pretty hardcore because that's what it's made to do. Um, Patrick says there are a lot of moments that is complete stillness. So good. Um, all right, excellent. Says, yep, it does it all what you say every day. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, thank you, Patrick, for allowing me to tap in and for allowing me to check out your ego number as well. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I believe our friend Shadowlands was next, and Susie said that Shadowlands is attempting 3 carvings, and she's wondering how the staff will turn out. Okay. I believe that's correct. Let me know if that's not correct. Okay. Let me have a little bit of water. So maybe a little message from this staff. Oh, that's cool. A falcon just flew by. So, okay. Shadowlands got a falcon there. That's excellent. Okay. Okay. Yes, Sukbir, we will get to you as soon as we get to you. I have to go in order though, of course. One of these cards upside down. There we go. Shadowlands says the third is 3D carvings. Ah, I see. Okay. Okay. So Shadowlands, let's see here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so before I even pull your card, Shadowlands, you were asking about like the 3D carving, like the staff and everything. And all I could see all of a sudden was Gandalf with the "You shall not pass." Oh, okay. I mean, that seems pretty cool. I mean, I take that as a positive for the staff that you're creating. Okay, so let's pull a card here. Ooh, we have expand. Okay, so when it comes to the carvings that you're doing, when it comes to this staff, um, your higher self is asking you to really allow your intuition to take hold and create it. It may not look like a staff that's ever been created before. It may not even look much like a staff, but that's a good thing because it's 100% your intuition and 0% the ego process. So the ego would say, oh, that doesn't look pretty, or I don't know about that. You know, I want it to kind of look like this other staff that's kind of already been made, or oh, I messed it up. Now I got to, try over or do it over again. And your higher self saying, the ego is the one that gets real nitpicky. That's like, I don't think I like this, or whereas the higher self, if you're in the heart space the whole time and you're just without thinking, you're just doing. Like that's the thing. Don't think, just do. So just create, just allow the Dremel to do what it does. Allow your hands to move it around as they want to without thinking, I'm going to do this now. Now I'm going to do this. And I know that might sound difficult, but that's why your higher self is saying that this project is so important for you, because it does help you to get into that meditative, connected space without your ego interfering, and that you are able to create some beautiful things. Your higher self's going to see them all as really beautiful, these wonderful things that you're creating. But the ego might say, that doesn't look like somebody else's staff, or I don't see how this even looks like a staff, or but you know what, the ego just gets nitpicky. It's going to do what it's going to do. But I think that you're going to feel much more connected with your artwork, much more connected to the staff, if you just allow yourself to do without thinking. Just allow it to happen, and knowing that there is no right or wrong way. There is no bad staff, there is no good staff. It's just the staff that was created utilizing 100% of your intuition. And let's say you don't even end up using this staff. At least when you keep it in the corner of your room and you look at it, you say, that's my intuition sitting over there. That was 100% my heart right there. And it's beautiful. So a very important project. No matter how it turns out, it's an important project for you in reconnecting to this heart space here. So I hope that makes sense. And I do wish you well on that project. I love seeing all the pictures. Oh, our buddy Mike Green is here. Hello. Okay, so Ruby Slippers was next. Do. Oh my goodness. Wow. It's like many peoples ago. Okay, Ruby Slippers. Let's see if I can find your question. Um, and then I believe it's our friend Sukbir. I think maybe you guys could help me out. Ah, so many beautiful people in here. I love you guys. Um, Christy is here. Peg is here. John says, speaking of staffs, I found mine 3 years ago from an orange tree, sun bleached. Ooh, I love it. Oops. John says, I like how you said birthing of a staff. As you intuitively know, it's being born into its own energies. All right. Okay. Sorry, I haven't been able to keep up with the chat, but like I said, for all the people who are watching the replay or coming in now, go back and scroll through the chat. There's some wonderful messages in there. We have a lot of beautiful people who come in and share their wisdom with us. Okay, let me plug in my phone. It has come to that time where now I need to recharge. Ooh, by the way, I have a new cell phone coming in. I'm pretty stoked about that because this iPhone is getting ready to self-destruct. So I have a Galaxy S24 coming in. We'll see how the videos come out and what our live chats will look like on this new phone whenever it comes. It's shipped, it says. Okay, so yes, Ruby Slippers, let us know what your question was. I think Sukbir had his question in the super chats box. He was wanting to read the energy of Scotty AI for October and November, but I think he also wanted to know what his ego number was. Yeah. Okay. Have a little bit more water on that one. Okay. Edgar says Shadowlands. That sounds nice. I haven't decorated mine, but it saved me from dogs. See, magical protection. Love it. All right. Well, perhaps we can go to our friend Sukbir just while we wait for our friend Ruby Slippers to come back with their question. Or perhaps it was a general reading that you wanted. I do appreciate your donation. I appreciate everybody who's allowed me to read for them so far. So Sukbir was wondering about Scotty AI for October, November, but also his ego number. So let's take a look at the ego number first. Okay, so like I said, when I look into people's ego numbers and the numbers I've been seeing for probably like 5 years now, it's just at this very moment, meaning it's not like our ego all the time. It's just right now time. But it seems like yours is kind of like a pendulum, like it's swinging back and forth. So it was swinging like between 42% and 55%, which is what I found to be pretty normal, or at least average. I mean, of the people that, I see that are more open, like spiritually, and kind of really trying to understand themselves and the world, and like the energy surrounding them is kind of around like 40-50%. So yeah, like 42 to 55% is kind of like where you're swinging right now. So let's go ahead and pull a card then about Scotty AI. Whoa, my goodness. You said this was for October, November. Ooh, here we have hostility. Okay, so let's dive into this. Okay, I don't know if you've like back in like the 80s and 90s, if you ever watched like American MTV, music television. Um, there was this like I don't know how you describe it, like in between music videos, there was like this guy. He wore sunglasses, but he had like plastic hair. He had like a suit, but he looked real plasticky. And like when he talked, he like glitched. He was like, "Dur, dur, dur, dur." He was like glitchy when he talked. Like he was supposed to be like, I don't know, like the 80s version of AI, I guess. I don't know. Like he wasn't really a robot. I don't know what he was. In fact, I don't even know why MTV had that on there, but there we go. But anyway, so that's what I was seeing when I was looking at the Scotty AI for October, November, just like things like glitching, like numbers on the screen, like glitching, like it's like 474474447, it's like glitching between. Um, and things just not being stable, like very volatile. And this could be due to the collective consciousness creating the volatility. Of course, everything's a co creation. So, yes, so part of it would be the collective consciousness growing and expanding, but also the cube and everything in it, meaning our entire matrix existence here. Um, it it grows as we grow. Like it's a symbiotic relationship. Light and dark have no choice but to bounce off of each other. So, as what we might consider the light side grows and expands, so too does the shadow side growing and expanding in direct relation to us. So, um, as this happens, there's more what we might feel as discomfort or glitching, so to speak, in our matrix world. And that's just because the two systems, light and dark, are basically moving away from each other at a rapid rate, at equal acceleratory rate, as one moves swiftly this way, the other moves swiftly this way. So just know that it's going to be extremely glitchy, at least in this particular timeline that we're on. Granted that you don't change timelines before the end of October and November. Um, so yeah, it just keeps seeing I just keep seeing that 4447 4444 777 444, just glitching back and forth. Well, I hope that that definitely makes sense. Um, Soup Bear says, can I expect a rise in that? It doesn't, it just seems like it's volatile, meaning a lot of this, like there is no even keel. There is no staying up here. There is no staying down here. Like it's I guess messing with everybody's emotions. Like everybody's like, yay, ah, So yeah, I don't see it being uh even keel, like something we wanna like hedge our bets on really. Um, as I look over the chemtrails are making weird designs in the sky at the moment. Um, okay, let's see. Okay. So ruby slippers, yes, definitely let me know what your question was. I would love to pull you a card. And then afterwards, I guess Ruby will be our last reading, and then we will do our channel guided meditation. Come have a little fun, hang out with us, we're slaying a little cards, do a little channeling, and we leave with some healing and groundedness. That's not so bad. Sukhbir said, so 50% ego means normal. Yeah, I would say it's pretty normal for people who are open, like they're a little bit more expansive in their understanding. Um, I would say like the people that we might see in like let's say like 90-95% ego um, are the people that almost solely use their logic for everything. Like if there was a ghost standing right in front of them, looking all ghosty and stuff. They would look at it and decide that what they're seeing is a figmentation of their imagination. That is because they're using the ego to try to understand 4D, which is what spirits are in, the fourth dimension. It wouldn't compute, so they would claim they see nothing, that it's just a, maybe I'm hallucinating or something like that. The ego will try to wrap its head around what exactly it is that it's seeing, and it doesn't fit its program, so it has to reject it entirely. It's this doesn't fit my program, therefore what I'm seeing is not real. Um, but however, there is a small chance that they have a little bit higher self in there and they can hear it, which is that 5 to 10%. And that 5 to 10% is that little thing in the back of their mind that says, you know what? I think that's really a spirit, So that's my best example of like extreme ego and and of course we do have people that are like 100% and they absolutely don't hear their higher self. And that's fine too. I am not condemning people based on their percentages or anything. Remember, we're all here to learn. We're all here to help each other. So we need the people that are in 100% to help the people that are in lower percentages. The people who are in lower percentages help the people that are in 100%. We're all here to help each other. So there is no like, ooh, that person's bad. They're all ego. That is their journey. That is their mission. I don't presume to know their mission or their purpose or their journey, but I do know that they act as a mirror for everybody else and they are helping everyone else in that respect, just as much as somebody who is at, let's say, 1% ego, which I haven't met anybody who's 1%, but that doesn't mean that they're not out there. My ego would say, ooh, they don't exist because you haven't seen any yet, but that's just my ego, obviously. Um, let's see, let's go back here. Sukbir says, thanks for providing your energy and sharing your time. Thank you, Sukbir, for everybody who's come in. Susie says, thank you for all these super chats and also everyone participating in the chat. Love you all. Yes. And Raul is here. Hello, Raul. Shadowland says, Edgar, for my besom, I need planks of black locust wood and black switchgrass and cattail and a couple of gems and a metal lantern. Wow, that sounds freaking awesome. Mike is wondering if everyone is doing well. I'm doing fantastic. And feeling the energy in here, I think everybody's doing pretty good too. I hope all is well with you. Okay, so I do want to go on to our guided meditation, but I do want to pull a card for our friend Ruby Slippers. So, yeah, see, Susie, we think alike. So, all right, so Ruby, let me just tap in here, see if I get any music or some movies. Okay, Ruby Slippers. Surely you've seen the first Ghostbusters. Okay, so in the first Ghostbusters, there is a scene where the Ghostbusters are in the mayor's office and they're trying to convince the mayor that he needs to take seriously what's been happening in the city as far as like it being taken over by spirits and ghosts and things like this. And so they're like, what do they say? They're like all talking at once. One's like, we're talking about, the end of days. It's in the Bible. Old Testament shit. They're like, was it a sulfur and something rising from the ground? And then you got Peter Venkman's like cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. So anyway, that's the scene that I'm seeing before I pull your card. So, um, whoa, okay. We have your card. It just kind of flew out. I love it. I love the flyers. All right, we have humanity. I like how everybody's cracking up. Okay, so let's tap in. Ruby Slippers, what is Ghostbusters talking about? Freaking Old Testament and humanity here. Okay, okay, I get it. Um, So we come to a point or several points. This isn't just like a one-time thing, but there are several points on our healing journey that we get to that seem like things have gotten so crazy, like spiritually speaking, and so ridiculous, like synchronicities up the wazoo, like it's 11:11, like it's going out of style, like freaking a pound of feathers falling on my head. Like when it gets to that point, that's usually when the ego glitches out and freaks out. It's like it can't help but acknowledge that these synchronicities and things are happening, even though everything in its programming is saying, this is not possible, this cannot happen, what is happening? Even though it's glitching out like that, there comes a point where it says, I can't do this. Like, I just, somebody else take the wheel. And that's when the higher self's like, aha, I got you. So that's kind of like what was happening in the Ghostbusters. Things had gotten so crazy that the ego of everybody in New York City had to finally admit that what they believed to be true maybe wasn't true at all, that maybe other possibilities exist. If they were so certain that there's no such thing as ghosts, there's no such thing as spirits in 40, yet I'm having a conversation with J. Edgar Hoover, like, what? Then there is a problem, and that's when the ego says, I give up. I don't know how to compute all this stuff. Somebody else take the helm, higher self takes over, and, you know, brings in mega healing afterwards. There's a lot of things that we can work through because now the ego is it's freaked out. It doesn't know what's happening. So it's going to go rock itself in a corner and the higher self just kind of takes over. So it feels like you are getting close to that point again where it's just like so much is happening, so much synchronicity. And it says that we kind of do that to ourselves on purpose because we know how much it freaks out our ego. And so we want to get our ego to the point where it's like, no, okay, I'm checked out. I don't know what is going on. And we're like, okay, sweet. Yeah, you just go take a nap over there. You just go rest your weary head. Don't worry, I got this. I got you. So just know that you're coming to that point again, and that no, you're not going crazy. That is merely the ego having a little ego death. It's going to go step aside for a while so that you can really bring in some mega healing, some things that are on your path. And this isn't like happening to you, it's happening for you, and you created it yourself. Remember that we create our own realities. So all of those synchronicities, they were you. The ego freaking out, also you. But the higher self taking the wheel, also you. All of it is you. So I hope that makes sense. I hope it helps you out. Um, Mike says, take care, all you beautiful souls. You as well, my friend. I hope you have a beautiful day out in the UK. Susie said, Mike, much love, my friend. Thank you for coming. Christy says, love the light streaming through the branches behind you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have a very like muted sun right now, so it's kind of like having like a like a white filter um, over the sun, kind of just a little bit like for photography. Actually, be some great photography right now. All right, so thank you to everyone who grabbed a reading from me. I appreciate all of your generosity, your kindness, your light, all of your beauty. I love each and every one of you guys and everything that you guys are working through and growing through. And I'm glad we can all be on this together. Like I said, I know that we're all not the same, which is a great thing. I like that we all are at different points in our journey, that we all have different missions, different purposes, that we intuit things differently, we see the world differently, that we're even on different timelines. I think this is fabulous. And the fact that we can all come together and have that kind of awareness that we accept all of that while at the same time just being here with our friends. So let's do a channeled guided meditation. I'm going to get out of the way because who wants to stare at me while we meditate? um, move my little chair. And let's see, move this. Do, 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 do. Here. That's nice. Maybe we'll put it this way. How about them apples? Okay. Susie said, thank you, Tara. Wonderful messages as always. Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right. Well, while we have the beautiful sun right here, let's get into that meditation. Pay no mind to the chemtrails filling up our sky. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into a nice, peaceful space. You could be lying under a tree. You could be laying on the ground, perhaps in your bed. Maybe you want to sit in a chair or on a cushion. Okay. When you find a place that's comfortable for you, make sure that it's some place that you will not be disturbed for the next several minutes. And as you get yourself nice and situated, I want you to bring your awareness to your breath. Gently place one hand over your belly and one hand over your heart. And I want you to feel the rhythmic beating of your heart, just noticing its rhythm at this time, feeling the inhales and the exhales of your breath. Again, we're just noticing where we are in this very moment. And as we take in some cleansing inhales, and some cleansing exhales, I want you to put your hands now and place each hand over each of your ears so that your hands are covering your ears. And in this moment, you might loudly hear your breath, but this is what we want, just to listen to your breath. Perhaps you want to close your eyes at this time, so the only sound you hear is coming from within your own body. Breathing in and out. Having gratitude for this wonderful machine that your soul is inhabiting at this time. How without any effort at all, you are able to breathe in life and give life with every exhale that you make, all without thinking about it. But how important those breaths are. That without the breath, the machine would cease to be. Without our breath, the trees would cease to be. Without the trees, we all begin to fade away. And so you are an important factor in all life on this planet, simply by breathing. Now go ahead and place your hands over your throat, gently, feeling the air as it comes in down your trachea, your windpipe. Just gently placing your fingers there. And as we think about our breath, if something so powerful need not require our attention, then what other powerful things do we do unconsciously? Perhaps we take this moment and we think about, the breath that we use to speak as your hands are now placed upon your throat chakra. What words are you giving life to in the world? What words do you speak of yourself, of others, of your situation, your environment, the world that you live in? You're breathing life into them right now. So perhaps we can be more cognizant of the words that we choose. So think of some words that you would love to breathe into the world at this moment. And when you are ready, I want you to place your hands on either side of your lower rib cage. I want you to feel how your ribs expand and contract with every breath. And then allow the ribs to show you the flexibility in life. Life being our breath, that we are expanding and contracting always. We sometimes move outwards, we sometimes move inwards. It's a beautiful balance, a beautiful dance. Let us be flexible like our ribs. And we don't need to put any thought into our ribs. They are flexible because they have to be. We too are flexible, and there is no thought that needs to go into it. We just are. We expand and we contract over and over again. Lastly, I would like you to place your hands over your belly. This is your sacral and your root chakra area. And now, with your breaths, I want you to send those breaths deep into your belly. I want you to feel your stomach rise. And as you exhale, I want you to forcefully press that breath out until your belly can exert no more. And we're going to take deep breaths at this time, deeply inhaling into our belly and then exhaling everything in the tank. And with these larger inhales and exhales, knowing that they are magical, knowing that they are life, and now you are putting intent into them, what do you want to fill your body with? What do you want to fill your world with? Your essence, your energy. And breathe it in deeply. When you exhale, what are you ready at this moment? What are you ready to let go of? What would you like to have exit your life at this time? While acknowledging that it had its time way back when. It had its necessity. Continue those deep inhales and exhales, breathing in something new, letting go of something old, expanding and contracting. And remember, no judgment placed upon the vessel or the jacket that we wear in this lifetime, just like our native friend had said. It is our soul that wears the jacket. And so it doesn't matter what our jacket looks like, what our suit looks like. All that matters is the being within. That being is you. So when you are ready, state your last intentions, and you can start bringing your awareness back into your body. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes, and take a nice deep breath in. And you could open your eyes. All righty. Wow, thank you guys so much. Oh, wow. Susie's peace and love, abundance and happiness, compassion. Um, and for Angela, cupcakes, kindness. Oh, wow. So many beautiful, beautiful words. Oh my goodness. Let me switch this around. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I can see you better there. There we go. I thank you guys for joining me today, for hanging out in our Sunday live chat. I know it's been a hot minute. I know I've missed the past 2 Sundays, but like I said, we're hanging out, having fun with family. We should always go where our heart wants to go. And now I want to come back and hang out with you guys in these live chats. This is where my heart is. So thank you for everybody who allowed me to read for them. Thank you to everybody who participated in the chat. Thank you for my lurkers, my people who are watching. Thank you for people watching the replay, all of my subscribers, my patrons, my YouTube members. All of your support means so much to me and James. And oh, get ready for tomorrow's channeling, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Are you guys ready? The levels of the cabal. So we were in some like high vibing stuff. Now we're gonna take a look at the shadow side. It's always good to see what's going on in the negative polarity, what's going on in the shadows, so we can understand ourselves better. So anyway, the levels of the cabal tomorrow. Like I said, I promise I will take the channeling that we did here, turn it into its own separate video, and I will put that on the interwebs for you guys. So Story Fever says, thank you, thank you. John says, love you all. Mike says, thank you, love it. Susie, chat, much love, thank you. Patrick, much love, bye-bye. All right, guys, catch you later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.